Growing older is a beautiful part of life. It brings wisdom, stories, and lessons that only time can teach. But sometimes, without even realizing it, certain habits start to creep in. Habits that can make others feel uncomfortable, distant, or even frustrated. The truth is, no one really talks about these things. Out of respect, love, or fear of offending someone, people often stay silent. But silence doesn't solve the problem. It just lets these habits grow stronger. This video is not about blaming or shaming, it's about awareness. Because when we know what's pushing people away, we can fix it and build stronger, more meaningful connections at any age. So today, let's uncover 12 uncomfortable but honest habits that show up in old age. Habits that no one tells you about, but many quietly notice. Let's begin. 1. Oversharing personal details. As people age, it's natural to want to talk about life experiences, health, or finances. But sometimes this can cross into oversharing. Talking in detail about surgeries, bowel issues, or financial problems might seem harmless, but for others, especially younger people, it can feel uncomfortable or overwhelming. What starts as a conversation can quickly become awkward when it dives into topics that are too personal or too graphic. This habit often comes from a desire to connect or feel heard, especially if loneliness is a factor. But there's a fine line between being open and oversharing. Many times, the people listening don't know how to respond politely and are left feeling stuck. The key is balance. Sharing feelings or struggles is important, but so is reading the room. If someone seems distracted, nervous, or quiet, it might be a sign that the conversation is getting too heavy. Being mindful of boundaries doesn't mean you have to hide your truth. It just means saving certain topics for people who are close enough to handle them. Connection grows stronger when we respect how much others can absorb. Oversharing, if unchecked, can unintentionally push loved ones away. 2. Being inflexible or resistant to new ideas. Change is hard at any age, but as we grow older, it's easy to become set in our ways. Whether it's refusing to learn new technology, rejecting modern parenting styles, or insisting that things were better back in my day, inflexibility can be one of the most off-putting habits in old age. Younger generations thrive on innovation, and when they feel their ideas are constantly shut down, they slowly stop engaging. Saying, "This is how I've always done it," might feel comforting, but it can also come across as stubborn and dismissive. In some cases, it even creates tension in families and friendships. Being open-minded doesn't mean giving up your values. It simply means being willing to listen, understand, and sometimes adapt. Even small things, like trying a new food, using a smartphone, or accepting a different opinion, can show that you're willing to grow. Flexibility is not a weakness. It's a powerful way to build bridges between generations. When older adults remain curious and open, they stay connected with the world around them. But when resistance becomes a habit, it creates distance, leaving others feeling unheard and unappreciated. Adaptability isn't about age, it's about attitude. 3. Judging the younger generation. One of the most uncomfortable habits some older adults develop is constantly criticizing younger generations. Whether it's how they dress, speak, raise their kids, or use technology, harsh judgments can create invisible walls. Comments like, "Back in my day we had respect," or "Kids these days are lazy," may seem harmless, but over time, they build resentment and emotional distance. Every generation is shaped by its time. What worked decades ago might not fit today's world, and that's okay. Younger people aren't necessarily wrong, they're just navigating life differently. When older adults judge instead of understanding, they lose the chance to connect, guide, and inspire. Constructive conversations are valuable, but judgmental remarks often feel like attacks. This habit can lead to young people avoiding deeper interactions with their elders, fearing criticism instead of finding comfort. Respect goes both ways. When older individuals stop judging and start listening, they often discover that today's youth are smart, resilient, and driven, just in new ways. Replacing judgment with curiosity can transform relationships and break the age gap. Instead of saying, "That's not how it should be," try asking, "Tell me why you do it this way." The results might surprise you. 4. Talking only about the past. Reflecting on the past is natural, especially when you've lived through so many unforgettable moments. But constantly living in memories without engaging in the present can be alienating for others. When every conversation becomes a walk down memory lane, it may feel like there's no space left for today's joys, challenges, or changes. Many older adults find comfort in recalling better times. Whether it's stories from childhood, war experiences, or how cheap everything used to be, these memories hold value. But when every interaction circles back to the good old days, it can make the present feel dismissed and less important. Younger people want to feel seen and heard in the now. They appreciate when elders show interest in their current lives, their jobs, hobbies, and relationships. Being stuck in the past sends the unspoken message that the best part of life is over, which can be discouraging to those still building their futures. Balance is key. Share stories, but also ask questions. Be present. The most meaningful conversations come from a blend of experience and curiosity. Living in the moment while honoring the past is a powerful way to stay connected across generations, and that's what keeps relationships alive. 5. Repeating the same stories. Sharing life stories can be powerful, but telling the same ones over and over? That's where things get tricky. Everyone loves a good tale, especially when it's full of wisdom, humor, or suspense. But when a story becomes predictable, it stops being interesting and starts feeling like a script on repeat. Older adults often repeat stories without realizing it. Sometimes it's memory lapses, other times it's the comfort of familiar narratives. But listeners, especially younger ones, might feel disengaged or even annoyed, nodding politely while silently wishing for something new. This habit can unintentionally make conversations feel one-sided. Instead of inviting interaction, it puts others in passive listening mode. People may even start avoiding these chats altogether, fearing they'll be stuck in déjà vu. The solution? Mix things up. Ask others about their experiences. Share fresh insights. If you've already told a story, give it a twist. Focus on a new detail, a lesson, or a feeling you've never mentioned. Engaging conversations are like two-way streets. They grow when there's discovery, not just repetition. Sharing is beautiful, but variety keeps it vibrant. It shows others you're present, curious, and willing to evolve with each interaction. 6. Neglecting personal hygiene. It's a sensitive topic, one few dare to mention, but personal hygiene matters at any age. As mobility decreases or routines change, some older adults unintentionally overlook grooming habits. But body odor, unwashed clothes, bad breath, or greasy hair can instantly create discomfort in social settings. People rarely speak up about it out of respect, but that silence often turns into distance. Family members may stop visiting as often. Friends might keep conversations short. It's not cruelty, it's discomfort, and it's something that can easily be addressed. Sometimes, hygiene issues stem from deeper challenges, arthritis, depression, or memory decline. That's why awareness is essential. Recognizing when things slip and asking for help if needed is not weakness, it's self-respect. Cleanliness signals care. It boosts confidence, improves health, and shows others you value their company. Whether it's trimming nails, brushing hair, or changing into fresh clothes, it all matters. If you notice loved ones subtly stepping back, it might be time for a self-check. A few simple hygiene adjustments can completely transform how others perceive and respond to you. Staying fresh isn't about vanity, it's about dignity, connection, and showing up as your best self, no matter your age. 7. Constant complaining. Everyone vents sometimes, but when every conversation turns into a list of aches, frustrations, and disappointments, it drains the room. Constant complaining becomes a habit that repels, not connects. People begin to associate your presence with negativity, even if your complaints are valid. Whether it's about the weather, prices, noise, or politics, nonstop grumbling makes others feel helpless or even defensive. They don't know how to fix the issue, and eventually, they stop listening altogether. Over time, It builds emotional distance. No one wants to feel emotionally exhausted after a chat. Complaining often comes from deeper emotions, boredom, loneliness, or fear. But repeating those grievances without a shift in tone turns into emotional noise. Instead, balance your concerns with gratitude, curiosity, or lightheartedness. Share a laugh. Ask about someone else's day. Choose to redirect the mood when you feel the spiral starting. Everyone faces difficulties, especially with age. But how you carry those challenges defines the energy you bring into a room. People are drawn to warmth, not weariness. Choosing optimism doesn't mean ignoring problems. It means refusing to let them define your voice. When your words uplift, people naturally want to stay connected and close. 8. Interrupting or dominating conversations. Good conversation is like a dance. Both sides need space to move. But when one person constantly interrupts, corrects, or takes over, it breaks the rhythm. Sadly, some older adults fall into this habit, often unknowingly, thinking they're just adding insight or saving time. Cutting people off mid-sentence or jumping in with back in my day stories can make others feel invisible. Even if intentions are good, the result is the same. Frustration. Over time, people stop sharing altogether, fearing they won't be truly heard. This habit often stems from excitement or the desire to connect. But dominating the dialogue doesn't build connection. It blocks it. Letting others finish their thoughts shows respect, interest, and emotional maturity. Practice active listening. Pause before replying. Ask follow-up questions that invite deeper sharing. These small shifts show that you value what others have to say, not just what you want to share. The most loved people aren't the ones who speak the most. They're the ones who listen best. If you want stronger bonds, give others the spotlight sometimes. Conversation isn't about control. It's about creating space for voices to be heard and hearts to be understood. 9. Making unfiltered or inappropriate comments. With age often comes a boldness to say it like it is. But sometimes that honesty slips into territory that's offensive, outdated, or just plain awkward. Making unfiltered remarks about someone's weight, appearance, ethnicity, relationships, or personal choices may seem casual or harmless, but it can sting deeply. Comments like, "You've gained weight," "Are you still single?" or "You look tired today," are often brushed off as humor or concern. But the reality, they make people uncomfortable, embarrassed, or even hurt. What may have been socially acceptable decades ago often no longer fits today's norms, and ignoring that shift leads to misunderstandings and tension. Many older adults don't intend to be rude. They simply speak freely, unaware that times have changed. But if those around you laugh nervously, avoid deep conversations, or stop bringing friends over, it may be a sign that your words are crossing lines. Being kind doesn't mean walking on eggshells. It means thinking before speaking. If you wouldn't want someone to say it to you, don't say it to them. Respect grows when people feel safe in your presence, not judged. A thoughtful pause can save a relationship. Choose words that heal, not harm. Sensitivity isn't weakness, it's wisdom in action. 10. Refusing help, then complaining about struggles. As we age, maintaining independence becomes more than a lifestyle choice. It becomes a symbol of dignity, strength, and self-worth. Seniors often take great pride in doing things themselves, whether it's managing personal finances, navigating appointments, or performing everyday tasks like cooking or shopping. This self-reliance is admirable, and it's rooted in decades of handling life's responsibilities. But there's a fine line between being independent and being resistant to help, even when it's clearly needed. All too often, well-meaning offers of support are met with a firm no. Loved ones may try to assist with tasks that have become physically or mentally draining, only to be politely or stubbornly refused. Then later, those same seniors may express frustration about how difficult life has become. They'll mention feeling overwhelmed, misunderstood, or left out, unaware of the mixed message being sent. I don't want help, but I also feel abandoned. This dynamic becomes emotionally exhausting for caregivers and family members. When help is offered from a place of love and concern, constant rejection can feel dismissive, even hurtful. It fosters confusion. Should they back off or push harder? Should they respect boundaries or intervene for safety? Eventually, resentment can build on both sides. The truth is, accepting help is not a sign of weakness. It's a quiet act of trust. It means acknowledging that someone cares enough to stand beside you, not above you. Accepting help also empowers others to feel useful and valued, especially family members who just want to feel involved. It's not about losing control. It's about inviting collaboration and connection. Letting someone lend a hand doesn't make you less capable. It makes you human. And in many ways, it makes your relationships stronger. Vulnerability isn't giving up. It's allowing love to reach you in a different, deeper form. At any age, leaning on others once in a while is not just okay. It's one of the most courageous things you can do. 11th, gossiping or spreading rumors. Gossip might feel like a harmless pastime, especially in tight-knit communities or family circles. But in reality, it's one of the most damaging habits, especially in old age when people often crave connection. Talking about others behind their backs, sharing personal information without consent, or spreading unverified stories may seem entertaining in the moment, but it erodes trust faster than anything else. Older adults often fall into this trap unknowingly. It may start with a comment like, "Did you hear about so-and-so's daughter?" Or, "I think they're having problems." It feels like conversation, but it's really a wedge. When people hear that you're quick to talk about others, they begin to wonder what you say about them. This habit damages relationships silently. Children stop sharing personal updates. Neighbors become cautious. Friends distance themselves emotionally. Gossip creates suspicion, breaks bonds, and leaves people feeling exposed. There's a big difference between expressing concern and spreading rumors. If someone confides in you, respect that privacy. If you're unsure whether something is true, don't repeat it. And if what you're about to say doesn't build someone up, ask yourself why you feel the need to say it at all. True wisdom lies in choosing words that protect, not poison. When you replace gossip with kindness, curiosity with compassion, and judgment with understanding, you not only earn people's respect, but their trust. And that's something no amount of stories can buy. The strongest voice is the one that speaks for people, not about them. 12. Overdependence. Without gratitude, needing help is completely normal in old age. Whether it's assistance with medical appointments, housework, technology, or daily errands, support from family and caregivers plays a vital role in maintaining quality of life. But when that dependence grows without appreciation, it quietly strains even the strongest relationships. Sometimes, older adults fall into the pattern of expecting help as a right, rather than recognizing it as a gift. Requests turn into demands. Assistance is met with criticism rather than thanks. Over time, loved ones begin to feel used, not valued. What once was a heartfelt gesture becomes a draining obligation. Gratitude is powerful. A simple thank you can revive tired hearts and renew the spirit of giving. Acknowledging someone's effort, even in small ways, can deepen emotional bonds and turn everyday tasks into meaningful acts of love. Being dependent doesn't mean being powerless. In fact, showing appreciation gives you more influence, not less. It creates an atmosphere of mutual respect where both sides feel seen, heard, and cared for. When help is received with warmth, people are not just willing to give, they want to. On the flip side, ungrateful dependence leads to resentment, burnout, and emotional withdrawal. Caregivers begin to pull away, not out of cruelty, but exhaustion. The solution is simple yet transformative. Recognize, appreciate, and express. Say thank you. Offer kindness. And never underestimate the value of small, genuine gratitude. Because at any age, appreciation doesn't just keep support flowing, it keeps love alive. Aging is a privilege. a gift denied to many. But with that gift comes the responsibility to grow not just older, but wiser, kinder, and more self-aware. The habits we've discussed today aren't meant to shame anyone. They're the blind spots we all have, things people notice, but rarely talk about. And the truth is, most of them can be changed with just a little awareness, a little humility, and a willingness to listen. Whether you saw yourself in one point or many, remember, it's never too late to shift, improve, and reconnect. A small change in words, tone, or mindset can rebuild bridges you didn't even know were breaking. If this video made you reflect, helped you understand a loved one, or simply opened your eyes to things no one ever told you before, then it's done its job. Now, I want to hear from you. Which habit hit home the most? Have you experienced any of these in your own life or with someone close? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more honest conversations that matter. Thanks for watching, and remember, growing older is inevitable, but growing better is a choice.